Following the fall of Halifax Prime at the end of our last campaign, desperate Imperial measures in the region have been scrambled in order to prevent the Ork assault on the nearby world of Projan. And it is here, within the Void, that the next series of battles will take place, as the wider Gamora Sector falls to the burning hatred of constant war. An Imperial fleet en route to Battle Station Orion has been ambushed by an Ork Marauder patrol deep within the Gamora Void sector. Desperate fighter squadrons and a bomber squadron have been dispatched in order to intercept and at least assist the transports in escaping this devilish Ork ambush. The battle opened with the Ork bomber squadron soaring straight towards the Imperial cruiser ship Necro, scoring a hit against their weapon batteries.
Fire teams to your stations! I repeat, fire teams to your stations!
In response to this, the Imperial fighter squadron soared in behind the Ork bomber and peppered it with laser fire, but failing to penetrate the Ork's crude shields. Another Ork bomber soars in to attack the Imperial ship, with its missile salvo striking true and blasting apart the dual weapon bay in the center of the ship, preventing it from firing broadside attacks. The Imperial bombers, taking up battle formations, soar towards the Smasher, firing a salvo of rockets, but this shot goes wide and clangs harmlessly off the Ork shielding. An Ork fighter sails across the void, lining up a direct hit against the Imperial fighter, blasting it from the sky with a simple salvo of heavy void rounds. The Imperial squadron banks hard to the left and comes up alongside the Ork vessel, blasting it to sunder with a hail of its heavy Gatling cannons. The Ducka Ducka gunship flies up behind the ISS Necro and lets off a shot with its heavy rail cannons, but it fails to penetrate the massive void ship's defensive armaments. An Imperial bomber squadron attempts to take out the Ork fighter squadron, but fails to do so in the vicious dogfight. Both the Ork bomber squadron and the Imperial bomber squadron soar ahead of the main body of ships, hoping to lay an ambush for future turns.
Ha! Those Orks won't know what hit them.
The Ork fighter squadron, not looking to waste a good chance to make a kill, screams in beside the heavy bomber and blasts it straight from the sky. Seeking to prevent any turn 2 counterattacks, an Ork fighter squadron soars up alongside the Imperial bomber squadron and again smashes it to pieces amongst the void. The ISS Necro, seeking to get out of the heavy engagement field, guns its engines and blasts forward towards the board edge. Its targeting computers indicate an incoming Ork bomber attack, and it powers up its rear laser cannons and blasts the ship to pieces.
Taking too much fire!
The border lets loose a salvo of missiles from its side batteries and blasts a massive hole in ISS Rogers. It then powers up its engines and soars after ISS Necro, not wanting it to flee the field. ISS Rogers, hot on the tail of the border, powers up its engines and steadies its forward cannons as it blasts a massive hole into the side batteries of the assailing Ork vessel.
Move it, Grots, put those fires out!
The Crusher swings around, hitting some deep space turbulence, and let loose with everything it has against ISS Rogers, blasting it to sunder as all of its weapons banks overcharge and the ship detonates in a glorious explosion amongst the void. As turn 1 comes to a dramatic conclusion, this battle will not take very long at all. The Orks have decimated vast quantities of the ISS ships. However, a small hope remains that they'll be able to flee the board edge before it's too late. Seeking to buy as much time as possible, an ISS fighter squadron soars into the path of the oncoming Ork bombers, blasting one of them from the skies with an easy salvo. Not wanting any lucky hits to go through, the Ork fighter squadron scrambles over to the ISS bomber, but fails to destroy it. Meanwhile, the last to activate, ISS fighter squadron flies up behind the Ork bomber and blasts it from the sky also. 2 attacks are better than 1, and the Ork squadron blasts the final ISS bomber from the battlefield. The Daka Daka gunship screams across the void and lines up a shot with its forward laser cannons, blasting a decisive hit and blowing out both of the central gun components, leaving the ISS Necro burning but intact. Its crew powers up the long-range hyperdrive and it flees the battle space on its turn. With only 2 ISS fighter squadrons left on the battlefield, there was little else to do for the Orks but to mop up operations here. The Border and the Smasher flank their opponents and blast them from the skies with ease.
Oh, blowing apart Uri's ships is real easy, lad.
Take evasive maneuvers, And so the first void battle for the wider Gamora sector just outside of Halifax Prime had come to a bloody and decisive end, but as the ISS Necro limped back through hyperspace and trailed off towards the battle station Orion, the stage was set for a much larger conflict as they were able to sound the alarm of the approaching Ork assault fleets, and help from the Battle Brothers 13th Assault Company would soon be on the way to the sector.